This is the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network, your number one source of information, education, and entertainment. For honest, responsible, and dependable information, we stand supreme. To stay focused, inspired, and relaxed, choose green.
Ekabo, and welcome to the Ifagbemiro Show. And as usual, we provide for you the fundamentals of Ifa Orisha. All right, I would open the show today as usual by reading the Oriki. Ope Nifu Olorun, Olodumare, Oba Ajiki, Mojiloni, Mowogun Meri Aye, Iba Ila Orun, Iba Iwo Orun, Iba Ariwa, Iba Gusu, Iba Oba Igbalie, Iba Orun Oke, Iba Baba, Iba Yeye, Iba Atiwo Orun, Ibashe, Igungun, Kiki Igungun, Ibashe Ori, Ori Inu, Ipori Atiwo Orun. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. All right, well, today, as usual on the show, we provide some of the most basic and fundamental information about Ifa Orisha. Today's show, of course, is going to be in the regular vein, where we educate and we inform individuals about Ifa Orisha. All right, the show again is designed to provide a basic education and information for persons who may not have access to a shrine. Also, for persons who may not be devotees and are interested in learning about Ifa. So what we do is we try to keep the show where we provide a lot of the fundamentals concerning Ifa. All right. Again, I always like to say this. Many of the practitioners of the tradition follow different lineages. So therefore, some of the information you may hear from me may not be consistent with what other sources may provide. All right. On the issue of standard, which is an issue that has been raised recently, I am afraid that where standards are concerned, it is very difficult because there is really no governing body that ensures there's a standard. Now, one of the things is this: most persons who are or have been in the tradition for a while and have been exposed to a specific body of knowledge and has not studied or nor explored other sources of information may be at variance with a lot of the information that I present. And I think that is okay. It is good because that too in itself is a catalyst for learning. All right. So today I'm going to share some important information concerning the title of Babalawo. All right. It's a term that we are going to hear quite a bit where Ifa Orisha is concerned. The term Babalawo translates into English to mean father of secrets. All right. Now, in many different parts of the world, there are other names that also refer to that same father of secrets. All right. You have names like Bokano or Bokanun. or Boka in some countries, in the diaspora, in particular, the last one. So there are quite a variety of names. But today, what I am going to do is I'm going to provide some information that I've found in doing some research that speaks of different types of babalawos. Because I think many of us who have been in the community for some time have a concept of a babalawo that has been presented to us. So today I want to go into what is a babalawo. All right, now the first thing I want to say, this is off the notes, this is not from the research, this is my opinion, this is what I think, based on a lot of reading, is that the term babalawo is not a homogeneous term that meets a particular criteria. The literal translation is father of secret. But in different countries, in different parts of the world, there are different standards for what determines who or what is a babalawo based on what they do or how they function. All right. So to say there is a hard and fast definition of what a babalawo is beside the literal translation, what you are going to learn today from my reading is there are many classifications of individuals who function in the role and under the title babalawo. All right. I'm going to start reading. Traditional medicine includes herbal medicine, bone setting, spiritual therapies, circumcision, maternity care, psychiatric care, massage therapy, aromatherapy, music therapy, homeopathy, and a lot of others. These are the things that fall under the umbrella of herbal medicine. Now I'm going to continue reading. Consulting herbalists, mediums, priests, witch doctors, medicine men, and various local deities. Specialists in traditional medicine involves herbalists, bone setters, traditional psychiatrists, traditional pediatricians, spiritual therapists, local surgeons, traditional birth attendants, occult practitioners, herb sellers, and general practitioners, among others. That is the category now referred to as specialists in traditional medicine. All right, I want you all to follow and listen very carefully. Several local names has been used to describe traditional medicine practitioners in Yoruba land. And these include Olosai, Elagbogi, or Onisigun. Some say Onishegun, as well as Babalawo. Although Onishegun or Ologun are used as synonyms, they are distinct from Alegbogi in the sense that the Ologun use charms, amulets, and incantation in their magical practice. They are more dreadful in the community where they live. Different areas of specialization include general practitioners, which are referred to as Bogbonise, stroke and hypertension healers, bone setting, referred to as Tegu Tegu, traditional pediatricians, which are referred to as Aleweomo, and local traditional pharmacists, which are referred to as Lekuleja. In addition to the charmers, diviners, necromancers, and stargazers, referred to as Atayari. All right. So there are many different types who carry out different functions. All right. Now, what this goes into is to give some idea of how some of these practices are executed. All right. So we're going to go a little bit into the actual function and methodology, excuse me, of how some of these things are approached. The first thing listed here is recollection of the previous existence. All right, sorry. Let me read it. Let me read the paragraph about, or else we might be a little lost. The first step taken by the traditional healer is diagnosis, followed by administration of treatments. Diagnosis, just like in orthodox medicine, involves knowing about the patient and a description of the illness and its cause. In traditional medicine, diagnosis involves recollection of the previous existence of the patient by deeply digging into the patient's past and the patient's entire family. Observation of the patient by listening to stories, complaints, patient's attitudes, and gestures. That's number two. Number three is a visual examination of the eye, skin, urine, and the faces of the patient. Number four, an analysis of recurring dreams can also be used by the traditional medicinal practitioner to diagnose a patient's problem and indicate the treatment needed or the sacrifices to be made. Number five, divination. Divination by consulting oracle or the gods about the patient's cause of disease and the appropriate treatment. If the practitioner receives a favorable response, he or she admits the patient and commences treatment. Otherwise, the patient and the people that brought him or her are turned down. The purpose of the consultation is to seek the express permission of the gods to treat especially subsomatic cases. There are various forms by which divination is done. Throwing divination chains, cowries, or bones. The divination chain called, well, we know some people call it opele. Some people call it um, other names, which, I don't want to get into now. All right, then there are the Ekins, and they are saying they are made up of 7, 8, or 16 palm kernels, right, tied on a string. The divination chain is thrown on a wooden tray called, well, here they have opele, but we know it as opanifa. And each arrangement of the seed is the characteristics of a specific Odu or chapter in a series of poems or verses which the priest must have learned during his training. It is believed that reciting the appropriate Odu corresponds to a particular pattern. It is believed that the story told in the chapter, or of which there are 256, indicates the illness of the patient as well as the treatment or sacrifice to be made. All right, now let me say this. So far from the reading, what we have gathered is that not every Babalawo is exclusively a diviner. What we have learned, however, is that various types of traditional medicinal practitioners has to be able to divine in order to determine whether or not they should treat the client, also to determine the means by which they are to treat the client. All of this through divining, using different methods or different systems or different oracles. All right? So now I'm going to continue reading. Now, divination is also done in the form of trance. All right? So traditional medicine practitioners possessing this ability enters into a trance as soon as a patient arrives or when people come to consult them about an ancestral problem. While he or she is in a trance, the words spoken by the practitioner are noted, and usually the callers, being the patient and the people who brought them, give a positive sign or response to let the practitioner know whether or not he or she is giving a correct diagnosis of the problem. This ability is used by the traditional medicine practitioners not only to identify an illness, but also to prescribe an appropriate treatment for it. In some cases, the practitioner can actually communicate with the spirits in his or her trance. In that case, he or she will attempt to link up with the spirit of the person who may be responsible for the problem or knows of its cause. Through the practitioner, the spirit narrates what is wrong as well as the sacrifices necessary to appease the gods. All right. Now, C speaks of hydrodivination. This involves watching like a television screen from a pot filled with water, the medical history of the patient and the series of events leading to the present ailment. This revelation occurs in the water and after making a series of incantations. D. There is a divination through the use of glass or mirror, where the practitioner will look through the magical mirror to detect the root cause of the problem. Then we have E. There is a divination through the use of sand, kola nut, and by looking through the palm. All right? And that's the last auricular method of divining. Originally, healing in traditional medicinal practices can be categorized as follows. Healing through the use of herbs, roots, and other traditional material like honey and animal products. Most treatment, even the one involving sacrifices in traditional medicine, involves the use of leaves, barks, roots, seeds, latex, resins, etc., either singly or in mixture. Whole or part of animals such as chameleons, tortoise, and snakeheads. All right, and this ends this piece of reading. So basically, today's reading has given us a lot of information concerning Babalawo. All right. So the secret is not limited only to divination. The term Babalawo refers to the father of secret. So you could have secret of particular divine sciences, herbology, bone setting, taking care of pregnant women, taking care of children, spiritual surgery, various forms of clairvoyance, various forms of divination. Okay? So therefore, we have learned through various sources of diviners as Babalawos. But now we are realizing there are different types, including Onishegun, right? That is one type. And then we also have Ologun, right? We also have Alagbogi. We also have Olosai. So we have many, many, many different types of Babalawos who specialize in various celestial and traditional spiritual scientific arts. All right. So with that, I would like to close off the lesson for today. And I would now go on to provide an opportunity where individuals who are interested in learning more about Ifa Orisha can come to learn. All right. First, let me tell you about the African Indigenous Tradition Community. We meet every Tuesday for Ifa Orisha classes at 5 p.m. at the Barataria Community Center, and that is on 6th Avenue, opposite the recreation ground. There are several instructors there, including myself. All right. Myself and the other Baba that is there, we are both Awos. All right. We are not purporting ourselves to be no sort of expert and no Babalao and none of that. We are Awos. We are learning and we are studying. And what we're offering is an opportunity where we can study and where we could also share what we have learned with others. All right. Now, we also have 3 shows where you could learn, right? Most of them are literally streamed from the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network onto our various Facebook pages and also recorded on YouTube. All right, I would give you all the details of all these platforms later. But for now, let me tell you about the classes. On a Wednesday, we have the Ifagbemiro Show, which is this show, which teaches the basics of Ifa Orisha. On a Friday, we have the Ifa Orisha Tradition Community Discussion Show at 6:30 p.m., where we teach stuff for the community and where we share and announce various activities. On a Sunday, we have the Traditional Herbal Health Show, where we provide information on traditional health as well as indigenous systems of health. Now, beside the class on a Tuesday, beside the programs on the Grassroots Entertainment Network, we have virtual classes. We normally offer classes in astrology on a Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. and we offer etymology on a Friday at 5 p.m. All right. At the moment, there are no virtual classes. These virtual classes are practically free. The only thing you would be required to do is to register, and you would also be required to send the money so you can receive the material and the textbooks for those courses. So you could come to the virtual classroom where you would get the lecture and we would discuss various things. You would ask questions, answers would be provided, and where we would read from the text and it would be followed up. All right. At the moment, there are no virtual classes. But just remember, the astrology and the etymology class is absolutely free. So you can tell all your friends about it. So when we throw the ad up on our platforms, you will be able to register, send the remittance for the material, and then, of course, you would be able to be in those classes. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the various platforms that you can visit if you're interested in seeing videos such as this one, seeing all the programs I mentioned, as well as other videos on IFA Orisha and on education, as well as on finance. Now, the platforms that we have on Facebook are as follows: the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network, the IFA Orisha Tradition Discussion Group of Trinidad and Tobago, the Ifagbemiro Home of IFA Orisha Tradition, the IFA Orisha Tradition Teaching Group of TNT, the IFA Orisha Institute of Sacred and Divine Sciences, the Orisha Baptist Small and Medium Business Alliance, the IFA Orisha Community Congress, as well as we are also on the African Indigenous Community page. We are also on the Orisha Baptist Teaching Moments and on the Yanti's Diasporic Venture home page. All right. Other than that, I would like to invite all the people who view the stream to visit our YouTube page, where you could like the video, where you could subscribe to our homepage, as well as where you can share the YouTube videos. All right, with that, I'd like to thank you for viewing, and I'd like to say Odabo, and we would see you next week on the IFA